So here we have a short demo to walk everybody through how you can get your Windows node join into a Linux node, and then in turn join into the container the pod or Kubernetes. So what we have as part of the setup goes, I have my laptop here on-prem in the office, and I'll be joining it into a SQL running on Linux, a VM in Azure, and then also join into the AKS, so SQL Server running inside a container on the Azure Kubernetes service. So
Awesome.
let's start that.
So OJ, what you're basically saying is we'll have one single always-on availability group created, where one replica is running Windows on your laptop, second replica is running Azure VM, which is running on Linux distribution, and the third one is running an AKS container on Azure again. And all three of this will be part of one single cluster. And when I do a right-click failover, the database will just move from Windows to Linux, Linux to container as part of the same availability group. Correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Awesome.
You essentially have a full cross-site, cross-platform, cross-distro, cross-environment
awesome.
single AG. So
awesome. Let's get rolling.
Well, here we go. So it's a short demo. We'll walk through it, and we'll try to explain it along the way here. Okay. So this is our small demo script. So we're setting up, obviously, your AKS cluster, setting it up. So there's some various things that you'll do. And first, we'll get our Windows node, which is my laptop here, up and running inside AG. So we set up a vhost. Think of it as a logical container where you can put applications under. So SQL AG is an app that we're going to put under a virtual host. Okay. And to add an AG into a virtual host, simply giving the system various parameters, the node name, the SQL Server instance name, and obviously credentials to get to it. And the DxEnterprise solution will go out and prepare and put this SQL instance inside the vhost and start the AG up. So here is our UI that we're going to show that what we just did. A 2 command, we get a vhost started, and then we have AG created running on my laptop. So we have a singleton AG at this point, right, running on my Windows machine. So next, we'll go ahead and join our second VM running Linux inside Azure. So activate the software. So again, a single command, and then we'll add it or join it into the cluster, the existing cluster, which is the Windows node, right? So we join everybody into a single quorum or group. So single command, and then out to the matchmaking service, and with the passkey for the group, this Azure Linux node will now be able to join into the Windows node, and the join successful. And of course, the next part, we'll see if we can add this new VM running Linux in Azure into the AG form. So once again, to add AGS node and pass in some of the parameters needed, the instance name, credentials, and the availability group. And once again, looks like we already got that done. You can see right there, we have 2 nodes now running a SQL AG, and they are participating in a single AG form. So we have the primary running on a Windows node, and the secondary running on the Linux node inside Azure. Cross-site, cross-environment, no VPN between the 2 nodes, by the way. So everything done run through the tunnel part of DxEnterprise. So next, we're obviously going to add the node, we call a node, any instance of running inside another VM or a physical machine or a container is a node to our view. So then we'll go ahead and prep this container, this SQL container, and be part of the HE quorum. So with the value parameter or YAML, it's looking more and say, hey, how am I going to deploy this particular AKS cluster? How many replicas or how many containers or how many pods I want inside AKS? So in this case, we only say, I only want a single pod, single container that running SQL Server and the DxEnterprise on the sidecar the model or side-by-side model.
So the best part about this, just to reiterate, what you're saying is while that command is running, that just went ahead, deployed a SQL Server container, which also contained the DXE packages for HA in one single pod on AKS with that just one single command. And I just want to let everyone know that this entire stack is fully supported. So you can deploy this using Helm, use DxEnterprise with a SQL Server always on availability groups running. So we are just adding the third node right now, which is a container running on AKS.
Yep. And you can have as many containers you want, really. That's up to you, right? You can have a full the AKS stack running, say, 3 pods, 3 containers. And they can also join to the cluster. I think just a clarification, for HE quorum, I believe you can have up to 5 synchronous replicas and 3 async inside a single 3 of 3, right? 3 async and a single config only. So 9 total.
Wow.
So you can have as many replica in it as you want. And as you've seen, all 3 nodes, right? One running on my Windows laptop here on-prem, join into a Linux VM running in Azure in region, I believe it's West US 2, and then the AKS was deployed in West US 3. So they really are 3 separate locations that joining into together into a single HE quorum. And of course, we have an HE. It's only useful if you actually have database replicated. So we go ahead and just add a database into the HE at this point.
So without opening a single firewall, without setting a single VPN between the laptop and the Azure network, we were able to set this entire thing up in less than 6 commands, all in all.
And not just that, think about it, right? Now with HE, you have to prep the certificates, you have to do all of the prepping, and here the tool do it for you.
Yeah. And all of this, by the way, is right now certificate-based endpoint authentication that is working. So you didn't have to create a single T-SQL command to create the certificates. All of this was taken care in the backend through these utilities. And whatever OJ is showing through UI is pretty much possible through CLI as well, in case if you want to go ahead and automate this.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of our customers are automating this via the deployment script. So the entire thing can be scripted. And
let's see
there,
failover happening.
You just fail over from any node, anywhere.
And this is the true power here. So we keep saying the SQL Server engine is the same. You run it on Linux, you run it on Windows, you run it on containers. And this is exactly what proves it as well. As you can see here, we were just able to fail over from a Windows laptop to a Azure VM running Ubuntu, which is a Linux distribution. Fantastic.
And the database are all synchronized. And again, you can go from anywhere, right? Any node, any distro, anywhere. Primary can be reside anywhere that you like. So this really gives you the power to move the data around on any distro, on any platform.
What if I delete the container? What happens then, OJ?
Well, obviously, the DxEnterprise is a clustering solutions, right? It's monitoring the apps that putting under its management. It's monitoring the health of each of the app that is attached to it. And of course, if you are going to delete a pod, you're essentially having a failure in your stack. I believe very shortly here we'll see that. So right now, if we look at the demo, it's currently primary on the container,
Yes.
right, running inside AKS. So if we simulate a failure of the system, so we go ahead and wipe out the pod, say bye-bye to the pod, then let's see what happened. In practice, it will fail over. So let's see if that actually does. Right, the whole clustering solution is about failing over. You're monitoring the health of your application. If something's wrong going on with it, there's a failover. And there you go.
There you go.
The system
Failover is happening now.
seeing that the primary is down, whether it's container or not, it's just a participant inside the quorum, and it's down. Therefore, it fell over. And the top node on the list is obviously the laptop, so it will fail over from container to Windows node, just like that. And
fantastic.
And you can see right there, AKS did its job. It bring the container back, and it rejoined the cluster, rejoined the DxEnterprise quorum, rejoined the AG quorum, and resync. So everybody back to normal, and just like that.
And just to specify this here, Anna, this entire thing is supported. So all the clustering technology and stack that we have here is from DxEnterprise, and DxEnterprise supports that. And the SQL Server component, the always-on availability group, that's an entire stack that is supported by Microsoft. So, and this currently is a production-ready, fully supported deployment that customers can go with.
That's correct. That is correct. And obviously, we are the engine for the HA engine for the AG stack that run across multiple distro, multiple sites. You can make it again. You can really script it. The entire thing can be done via our CLI. So we can switch between CLI and UI there. Just gonna show. All right, you can do it in the UI or in the CLI. But technically speaking, when it comes to deployment, right, you want to script it, automate it. So put inside a script, execute the CLI command or the CTL command, then you get your entire AKS and or mixed environment cluster up and running.
And customers can get started with the developer versions that's available for SQL Server as well as for DxEnterprise. So nothing holds you back. You can get started with it. With that, That's all from our side.